Day 15, the topic was mysterious. So this one I really want to include bunnies because there's something about a man bunny human-like bunny thing is very kind of creepy and mysterious. It's kind of inspired a little bit with Alice in Wonderland, having, encountering a rabbit, but also with the concept of the doors and windows just kind of existing like that. Was inspired by the Twilight Zone. If you've ever seen episodes of it, there's a door in the intro that's just kind of floating there in space or wherever, so that's kind of where I got the idea from. And I like the color combination I used for this, using contrasting blue and grays that are very cool, and then having this pop of warm yellows and oranges, kind of this bunny man being like, hey, you want to go to this other dimension? Go on an adventure, it's kind of mysterious. Also included a little bit of a border for this. I used tape to do that. It's just so it's not like a line border, but more of an organic one that's going on. I think it's nice to have a border for some of these pieces. I think this will be a good piece to redo digitally because I'm just much more comfortable with that medium, and I think I could do something really cool with it. So that might be an option in the future. This one's great. Day 16, fat cat. The internet, cats, great. This one I also used tape to do the border, but I kind of messed up when I was peeling it, so this one's got a little bit of damage to the paper, but overall it's pretty okay. Here. This one, it was a relatively simple piece, also watercolor. This might actually be the last watercolor, but I just really enjoy mountain scenes, and I thought it'd be a really funny concept to have a giant cute cat just sitting and blocking traffic. Imagine some, poor people here, they're on their way to work or going wherever, and they're like, we can't get through. What is this giant animal doing here? It's so soft, but it's really blocking the way. But yeah, I think someone commented about this, how even though it's not very, high resolution, very detailed sort of piece, the concept is really, really cute and really nice, and the colors chosen for it really help the cat pop out. So day 17, the topic is graceful, and I didn't have a lot of time that day to do a drawing for this topic, so I went with sort of borrowed idea that I had for a picture I drew once with flamingos being dancers. So I had these flamingos as dancers as well, but I had the swan also as the main lead for this dance. Thought, a lot of these long-necked birds are considered to be very graceful looking, particularly swans, and here I have a very awkward looking swan leaping as they dance on stage. It's actually supposed to have two spotlights crisscrossing here, but I was not paying attention, and then I was coloring in this part, and I was like, wait, I thought, oh darn, and I just sat there for 10-15 seconds being like, what am I gonna do now? So then I just have one, and I think it still works. It's cool. Always find a way to work with your mistakes. What's this? A full colored piece right here in some other medium. Markers, like I said, these Ohuhu markers I used. I was trying them out, and this was the first piece that I used for them, and I think after this, almost every piece I did in marker, just to get to learn how to use markers. The topic for this one was filthy, and it's actually one of my least favorite pieces I did, just because the lines are so thick for what I want to do, and I wanted to make the room actually a lot more messy, but I ended up not having a lot of time to actually execute it the way I wanted to. This room layout is actually kind of based on what I have in my room. I actually do have my bed against a window, and then a dresser and stuff here, and I have like my desk actually right here. I didn't draw a desk. It's good to see how well it would layer, see on the blanket here, and how well it blends with some of these other things. So it was a good starting place for using markers. Also cactus. I like to draw cactus recently. Day 19, the topic was cloud, and this one, since I used a lot of very vibrant colors for the previous day, I wanted to try more pastel colors because a lot of the reviews I saw for Ohuhu markers were that they were very bright saturated colors and not so much of the more pastel color palette, and I thought I was trying to make it work with what I had in the set of 80 that I had. And I was kind of inspired by Animal Crossing because I'm obsessed with Animal Crossing, not so much as I used to be, but I still love it so much. So you have like a little animal friend, and here's girl, and they're living in kind of like a little Animal Crossing town, but it's in the clouds, and so it's interesting. And this little guy, again, more bunnies, love the bunnies, is fishing, and the hook is kind of like a moon. I also decided to line with sepia ink instead of black ink because I thought black would be too harsh for the pastel colors, and I think brown works very well for it. Day 20, the topic was deep, and I chose it to mean like deep space, and this space is one of my favorite. Again, more with the bright, cartoony, colorful look. Kind of inspired by Omocat with a lot of random things going on. And this is where I started doing this one character in a lot of my upcoming pieces. It's like a cartoonish girl with short pink hair, sometimes wearing a bow, and she always has like a friend cactus. Like, I will point it out in other ones too, but it's a reoccurring character, I think, in some of these pieces, and I don't really have anything in mind as like a character that then she has a pet cactus and she goes on adventures. But yeah, more of this door floating space sort of thing going on, and the gel pen was very nice for this. So I'd colored all the important colorful bits and then was deciding on the kind of blue that we use, and I blended it a little bit with purplish or pinkish color. It's kind of like a blotchy blend. I think it was just the way I blended it. I did like a layer of blue and then I tried to put pink on top, so it came a little bit weird, but I think it makes it look a little bit like a galaxy, and the white gel pen just made it a lot more magical having everything on there. Someone actually asked me if I used pen on top for this or did I just color in around and leave the white, and I'm like, nah. Day 21, the topic was furious. I wasn't really sure what to do for this one. I actually didn't do this the day of the, October 21st, sorry. I actually came back to this at a later day. I skipped it for the time being just because I just didn't know what to draw. I just decided to use that frustration with not knowing what to draw as the subject. I drew an artist being furious at his art or his art block. Something that, is bothering him about this piece or about his emotional state as he's drawing this piece, which is, I don't know, some trees. Maybe he's really emotional about trees, okay? Day 22, the topic was trail, and I did a Red Riding Hood sort of thing, and I don't know why, but I always think of doing Red Riding Hood for a lot of things in general. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna draw little Red Riding Hood. I don't know why. So instead of your usual fairy tale Red Riding Hood going through the woods to Grandma's house, she's going through the woods alright, but it's nighttime, and that's creepy. And the trail is a steep drop on both sides, so you can't really go around different paths or anything. And right at the end there's like a little wolf or something in the distance, so it's a little bit Red Riding Hood, but also a little bit spooky terrors. So what I want to talk about was the markers for this. This was a pain to do because as a bullet nib, I couldn't just do little strokes like a brush pen can do and get really nice natural leaf shapes. Instead, I had to actually draw leaf shape and color in, which was a lot more effort and it doesn't look as natural. So that's the one thing about these markers. They're cheap, but they have the bullet nib and not the brush tip, and there's a little bit of payoff with that depending on what you tend to draw. Also with the brush tip, it's usually easier to blend. Day 23, the topic is juicy, and I thought about drawing things like gossip or whatever, but that was too much work to figure out how I was going to actually make the composition. So I did a girl with short pink hair with a bow on top, and I kind of, you know, drew some nice juicy watermelon. It's a very simple portrait piece, but it was good to see how I would use markers to draw a person's face. There were not a lot of skin tones in the set that I received, so I had to use a lot of pinks and do some blending wherever I could. I was also very blind on the hands. I just drew some ovals and lines, and I was like, well, let's just get right to inking. Get a little brave here. So I did, and they look a little bit weird, but I think overall, if you don't pay attention too much, they're pretty okay. Day 24 was actually pretty funny. I really love this one. The topic was blind, and I drew the 3 blind mice. It's possibly things that people think of a lot, you know, 3 blind mice for the topic blind, but I just had so much fun imagining a classic children's story or poem, whatever it is, as a Broadway musical. So I drew kind of a black and white poster for it, and my favorite part is just these dancing cheese ladies. They are so funny looking. This time I did not mess up the whole spotlight thing. Although I did mess up the hand here, it's very awkward looking compared to the other two, but I think if you don't look closely, you can't tell. The final week of October was just so bad because I was kind of lagging behind on the drawings, and so day 25, the top was ship, and I drew boats because I guess boats are close enough to a ship. I did, instead of regular boats, I did origami boat, and if you'll notice, it's the pink hair girl again with her friend the cactus. They're both wearing little hats, and her flag is a cactus. She just really loves cactus. And following the origami theme, I did also the other animals as origami as well. So here we have a little bit of underwater scene. I don't know how clear this water is. It must be very clear. But yeah, a little origami dolphin and a little fish and jellyfish here. A random girl with her pet dog. She likes dogs. You like plants. We're all friends. With these markers, if you want to make them blend, you had to work really fast, and I was not working very fast with these, so I just did something really random. And I think it works okay. The sky fared a lot better in terms of looking like a natural gradient. Okay, this one. This was the last one to be drawn because I was just running out of time, I was getting burned out, and the topic was Squeak, and originally my vision was to do a cool, fully colored, awesome court scene of some people playing basketball, and you're like getting the feel of squeaking just because we're so accustomed to hearing that when we watch basketball. It didn't happen though because I'm lazy and I just lost interest in working on this one. And so instead of a really beautiful colored illustration, you get some really badly lined, horrible anatomy anime boys playing basketball, kind of. I even messed up a line there. But, you know, I try to go for a dynamic pose, even though the hands are very suspect. But it's the idea that counts, okay? I did so much work for the other ones. I'm allowed to be lazy for this one. Day 27, the theme was climb. I'm actually not so hot about this one, but I think the idea is very cute and cozy. It's a bunch of friends having a sort of tree house club sort of thing going on, and they're all like, yeah, let's climb up here, and this girl here is making drawings. A really badly drawn elephant and some other, look, cactus girl. Trying to keep that little secret, not really secret thing in my drawings, but my favorite one is the blue hair girl, just because she looks so cool with that turquoise hair, and she's just chilling with her cup of tea or whatever. And you know, it's just very cute cartoony thing. They have little plants around to liven up the place. They have a little sign that says watch your head when you try to climb in, because you know, it's very low. Definitely kind of lost steam with Inktober on this one. And oh, I forgot, this was supposed to be the pink hair girl, but I messed up when I was lining, so I had to make her hair brown instead, so it's no longer the pink hair girl, so that's why I put this one here. Possibly one of the more disappointing pieces in this collection in terms of expectation and reality is Day 28 Fall, which I did a sort of Alice in Wonderland sort of idea here. It's very cliche, but I did it, and I got bold with my ability to use ink. So I messed up quite a lot in here. I don't like it very much. It needs more contrast. It's just I lined with brown, which works well for these things, but doesn't make her or these other stuff pop really well. And it's probably better to do in a full digital or a actually planned out watercolor piece, because I'm much more comfortable with painting than I am with lining and inking and, you know, just coloring in. Some other people are really great at doing that, so I'm always so amazed when I watch people do lining and coloring, because that stuff is hard and I'm not good at lining. I don't know what's going on here, but sort of like a White Rabbit, but reimagined. I don't know. Her dress is also not the classic Alice in Wonderland dress, if there even is one, other than like the Disney version that you see. But it's because I messed up with a line somewhere around here. I'm like, well, time to give her little puffy looking sleeves. Might as well make the rest of her dress match that area, so that's why her dress is kind of weird. But her face is also a little bit, it reminds me of a bean. I don't know, but I would like to redraw this at some point. I never actually read the book, so I don't know it in detail. Maybe I should read it at some point, but this is my impression of what the scene where Alice falls into the rabbit hole is like, so there we go. Day 29, the topic was United, so having watched it the previous month, we went to watch it, and I was inspired to draw the Losers Club, and the kids are from obviously the 2017 version that I just watched, and it was just fun. I liked the movie. There are not enough references online for their clothing in the final scene, so I had to make up a little bit of it. I was like, I don't know what shoes you're wearing. I think they're vaguely like a boot. I don't know what pants you're wearing. I don't know what pants you were wearing, but it was fun to do because I just think about the characters as I'm drawing them, and Richie was very fun to draw because you have all these serious stuff. I was drawing all their faces and everyone's so serious. They're like, yeah, we're gonna defeat Pennywise. And then there's Richie. I also wanted to do a sort of 80s looking font, but I kind of messed up and doesn't look very 80s. But it was cool to use the balloon, the iconic red balloon, as the O for the Losers Club. So that's one thing at least that I liked about this piece. Another thing is that I still managed to somehow make it look vaguely like the kids. Like, it's really hard to, I'm not very used to drawing cartoon style, so I wasn't sure how to translate someone's real face into a more very simple symbolic representation. Some of them are a little bit off, but I think Bill turned out okay. He looks pretty much like his character on screen. What I hated about this piece was I don't think the colors worked out very well. I don't know, they were not very planned, and I think I should use a darker background and be less streaky with it. Like, this is horrible right here. But, you know, I didn't work fast enough, so what can you do? Okay, this piece is really cute. Day 30 was found, and I did a little cute lost and found idea again with Cactus Girl, her pink hair and bow with her cactus friend here in the scene. So this is sort of a spooky Halloween sort of thing because the next day was Halloween. So I did this whole thing, a tooth, a head, flowers, broom, and a leg, you say? So all these little monsters are missing their respective items, and one of them was this leg that he's missing here, the little skeleton. And she's like, huh. And then the ghost is like, I wonder. And then you have the werewolf here that's just freaking out in the corner, like, oh god, I've made a mistake. But very fun. I really love this piece. It's very simple, but so effective and cute. It's like almost like a little comic. which, like I said, I'm not very used to doing. This was fun. The little lost and found sign is very cute. You have the little wolf, the ghost, and the girl. She's dabbing or something. I don't know what she's doing. And then all these random missing items here, which you can actually find some of the items in here. You can't find that. I mean, unless you want to include it, if you want to count the smileys, but tooth, I guess you could just assume is somewhere, but the girl is just like, this is a really weird list of items to look for. Like, broom maybe, but a leg and a head and like teeth, that's so weird. Last but not least is day 31. The theme was mask, and I was 100% like done with Inktober by this point. I have never drawn so much in such a short time in my life. So I did a sort of Persona 5 fan art thing. The Joker. Wow, so original. Joker card. I absolutely just kind of gave up on art at this point because I actually did this a little bit after Inktober was over. I was a little bit behind, so I was just like, I'm just gonna finish this, like, forget it. So it's very bad looking. I mean, I think he turned out okay, but this one just, I don't even want to turn it around because it's so awful. Again, more streakiness with the markers. I just think the gray, it's either I'm not working fast enough or the gray is just, it tends to streak a little bit because it dries so fast. Because I didn't have this problem when drawing the space background as much. So, I don't know. I could just be getting so tired that I'm just slowing down. So the question is, would I do this again? If I'm crazy enough, sure, but that doesn't say anything because I'm already pretty crazy when it comes to stuff with art. You know, ever do those kind of pictures where you draw so much detail for the background and you're like, wow, I never want to do this again, like, kill me. I do that a lot when it comes to drawing complicated backgrounds and flowers and stuff, and then I hate myself for it, and then 6 months later I do the same thing, so I'm pretty crazy. Anyways, thank you so much for the 5 or so people who actually watched this video. Maybe it was very boring. I try to not make it too boring. It might be boring anyway. But thanks for watching, and talking is so hard. Oh my god, I'm so thirsty. Have a nice day.